And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Friday, September 20th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome a Friday morning. I could not believe it. I walked out and there was some moisture on the street where it actually rained a few drops. I don't know about your place, but I hope you're getting some rain or will, but I don't think there's much rain in the forecast. But anyway, just an observation this morning, and I wish you a fantastic Friday. We are on the air for Wilson Bank and Trust, as we are always at this time, and we have Barbara Sherrill with us this morning, who's here to do the commercial and talk about the Gladeville branch of Wilson Bank and Trust. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, and it's nice to see you today. I think you've got a special event we're going to be talking about, but Glade Fest it's called, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's talk about you just a little bit first. I don't know how many times you've been here to do the commercial, but I don't think many.
4.
Have you already?
Yes, sir. This is the fourth.
Fourth one. All right. Well, we're glad to see you this morning, and I'm sure that the Gladeville branch is doing well.
We are. We're doing fantastic. Our little branch is not so little anymore.
Yeah.
I think Gladeville has been found out as one of the quiet little communities of Wilson County, and we are busy.
Yeah.
We have seen our numbers increase over the last 12 months, and we're excited about that. We have seen a lot more new people move into the area, and we also, our elementary school that's across the street has increased in numbers by 100 over the last 12 months as well. So not so little anymore.
The community is growing. The bank is growing.
We're growing. We have excellent customers and excellent community, and we just are blessed to be there. We are so happy to be in that area.
Well, we were talking about the different branch managers that's been there this morning. Been
Yes,
several of those that I recall. But how long have you actually had that title?
I've had that title now for 4 years, and just
Boy,
grateful
time
for
flies.
every year. Yes, it does. It goes very fast. I was thinking about that this morning on my way in. I can't believe that it's been that many years, because it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Who was? Did you say Matt Pillow was there?
Yes, sir. Matt Pillow
John
was there.
Foster was there. At one
And then
time.
John Foster was there before Matt.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how many people does it take with you to run that branch?
We have 6 full-time staff that are there, and we are all busy all the time. Most days we've got 5 people that are there with days off, so we can work on Saturdays. We are a full-service Saturday branch, so whatever you need done on Saturdays, we can help you take care of.
Well, your hours on Saturday.
Our Saturday hours are from 8:30 to noon.
8:30 to noon. So 3.5 hours there.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you've got a big event we need to talk about. That's primarily the main reason you're here. But we want to find out a little bit about you and
Well,
the
I
branch
appreciate it.
and how good you're doing.
I appreciate it. We sure love coming in here and talking with you. And Glade Fest is our community event that is the entire community. Wilson Bank is one of the largest sponsors for the Glade Fest event, and it was originally put on with the elementary school and the Methodist Church in conjunction with the fish fry at the church and then the fall festival at the elementary school. It has since grown to where it shuts down our whole little town, which is about a half a mile. And we have a car show that goes on over at the Church of Christ building. We have food trucks, and this year I do believe we have about 8 of those that are set up to be there. And we have an entertainment stage at the Gladeville Middle School, which is new to our area this year. They just opened in August. They're going to be taking care of all of the entertainment for us over on our entertainment stage, and that'll be from 9 until 2. And then over at the bank, we have our inflatables that we'll have that go on every there, as well as Kona Ice. I know all the kids always get excited about seeing Kona Ice. And then over at the elementary school, they'll have all of their teacher games as well as vendors set up for you to go and shop if you're interested.
So what time does it all begin?
It all starts at 9.
9, and it should be over.
The first part of it is over at 3. This year, with adding the middle school into the mix, they start their portion of their Glade Fest starting from 2 and will go until 7. Oh. The middle school will be doing intramural sports and then also have food trucks for dinner. So you can come out and make a whole day of it. And there is plenty of parking. There's parking on the backside of the Glade Church, the backside of Gladeville Elementary, as well as the backside parking lot of the Gladeville United Methodist.
Is the bank pretty much in charge of this now?
We have a committee. So there's a committee full of all of the community members from within the community. Wilson Bank is the largest sponsor of it, but it takes a whole group of people to put it on because there's so many parts and pieces to it.
Well, no doubt it has grown a lot. Now, do you still have the fish fry?
They do. They're doing barbecue. So the United Methodist Church is doing barbecue, so you can buy it by the pound or by the plate. And it is excellent barbecue. They start tonight because tonight is the glow run, and then the Methodist Church starts their smoke for where they're doing their barbecue.
Okay, and the car show?
The car show registration is from 8:30 until noon. And registration is required if you're coming, and that's over at the Gladeville Church of Christ.
And then that's where all of that takes place.
Yes,
there,
sir.
I guess, in their parking area and so forth.
It'll be out on the field that's beside the church.
Okay, all right.
Lots of space. Please bring your cars.
All right. Well, it no doubt, if you check the weather forecast.
It's going to be hot. But we are okay with that. We have lots of patrol out in the area to make sure that everybody's being safe. We have air-conditioned areas for everybody to come in and cool off. And Kona Ice, of course, will be there. And then we've got the food truck vendors that will have beverages for you as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Barbara, for being here to tell us about that and to give us a good progress report on the Gladeville branch of Wilson Bank and Trust.
Well, thank you. One more thing before we go. We want to thank our sponsors of Glade Fest. We couldn't do this without them. And the proceeds that we make from our sponsors and from our vendor booths go right back to the community in the way of scholarships as well as community beautification. Duke Realty, Sonic, Permobile, Mannheim, 525 Designs, Ziggy's Pizza, Goodall Homes, Southeastern Tank, Affordable Carpet Care, Brown Oaks Flooring, Amazon, and of course Wilson Bank and Trust.
Well, you've got a great lineup there.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again for being with us, and we'll see you next time, whenever that is.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Barbara Sherrill, who is the branch manager, the office manager of Gladeville Branch, Wilson Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, still here, still independent, still committed to you. Middle Tennessee's community bank. Thank you. Okay, 10 minutes, actually it's almost 11 minutes after the hour. And if you recall, a week ago, Wednesday, we did not get to have our program because the power failed. Middle Tennessee Electric had something go wrong, like maybe a transformer explode or a line get down, or maybe both. But anyway, Bob Lee was scheduled to be here that day on the second half, and Bob was here and stayed to the end, and we talked about a lot of things out in the lobby, but he agreed to come back whenever I needed him, and I needed him today. So he is here. Bob Lee with Lee & Lee Attorneys, and good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Good to be here.
Well, it's nice to have you. And
it's been a while. I've missed you.
Well, we've missed you, too. You've been an attorney for, I guess, most of your adult life.
Almost 42 years.
Yeah. Lee & Lee Attorneys.
Yes.
And you got a brother, Mark, who's in it with you. And I
have
fond memories of your father, Ewell Lee. Robert Ewell Lee, I believe was his name, but most of us called him Ewell. And he had quite a reputation and following as well. You probably learned a lot from him.
I did. I recall last week when we were sitting out here talking, we were telling war stories about the old lawyers that have now passed on. So there was there's some interesting characters back in the day.
Well, there was, and Ernest Cotton being one of them.
Exactly right.
I should say the late Ernest Cotton.
Yes.
Any particular? You told me you even did a little research or whatever. You had brought some notes and some things to discuss because you'd rather have something to talk about than me sit here and ask you a bunch of questions you'd not anticipated ahead of time.
Well, I hate to be my deposition being taken, and I don't know what we're talking about. So yeah, I picked up a few things, and we can talk about it. But if you've got some questions, just we'll deal with what you want to talk about.
You were telling me you had. By the way, you've got your wife is a lady who's quite well known in the community, Lucy. Lucy has started Leadership Wilson here a long time ago.
That's correct.
She was the roastee at the library roast one night, and we heard a few things about her and your family then. But I guess I bring that up. I hope she's doing okay.
She's doing well. They are doing the leadership retreat this weekend at Maude Eagle. and she still is involved with leadership in that she leads that retreat each year.
Oh, I see. And you were telling me, we were talking about the Titans game, if you can call that a game. Well, they it wasn't what we wanted, let's say, but they got beat last night. But you had to make a emergency trip for Lucy.
Yeah, she'd forgotten something, and I get a call about 6 o'clock. I'm settled in. I'm ready to watch the ball game, have a little dinner, get the phone call. And she'd forgotten something that she desperately needed for the retreat last night. Told me where it was and what to look for, and I found it. So I threw it in the car, that blue Corvette, and I broke most of the speed laws between here and Monteagle, but made it, got it there, and turned around, drove back, got back just in time to watch the Titans go down in defeat.
Well, that's the way it goes. I think they got attacked where they're most vulnerable, and that's protecting their quarterback. Mariota got sacked 9 times last night.
It looked like he was running for his life while I was watching it.
Well, we've ad-libbed here till break time. Let's take a break right here, and we'll get into whatever you'd like to talk about this morning. Bob Lee is with us here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. I want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental. Large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday. Free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking at a minor wreck moved over to the right-hand side, but everybody's slowing down to look at it right here on 24 westbound between Briley and 440. All that traffic volume now coming in from Rutherford County on 24 westbound here, coming past Harding Place. It's also heavy now. 65 south at Trinity Lane, 2400 block at Jefferson Street. There's been a crash there. Trying to wrap up that wreck. 24 east between Whites Creek Pike and OHB. Celebrate autumn at Ober-Gatlinburg during Oktoberfest. Starts tomorrow through October 28. Check it out, obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Are you a first-time home buyer? You are considered a first-time home buyer if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years.
Call us and let us set you up with a loan officer who can explain the many first-time home buyer loans available.
Why rent when you can buy? Don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoller at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
At Absolute Kubota, now you can get a great-looking cut in less time, every time. With an Exmark, the mowers landscape pros trust 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand of mowers. Right now, Exmark is offering great incentives on the newly redesigned Quest, our most affordable zero-turn riders, starting as low as just $32.99. Check out all the special Exmark deals today at Absolute Kubota, 1325 West Main Street, Lebanon, Tennessee. Exmark, ready to work for you.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Bob Lee is here. He's an attorney legally. Your law firm. Your father started it?
He did, in 1959.
And it wasn't Lee and Lee at that time. You changed the name, didn't you?
He was a sole practitioner. I graduated from law school and took the bar and passed in 1977. And shortly thereafter, we changed the name, and it's been that way ever since.
Yeah. And the Lee and Lee are you and your brother now.
It is now,
yeah.
Yes.
One other thing we do need before we get into this, just MJ noted at break time there how she's the Florida fan. And it is the UT Florida game tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I believe. And, of course, you've been a big UT fan all these years, like most orange. People around here.
Bleed orange.
You and Mike Jennings and I like to start naming a bunch of people here. But what do you think? They're a 14-point underdog.
Yeah, they're obviously a bigger, better, faster team than Tennessee.
And rated number 9.
14-point pick. It's at the Swamp.
Yeah.
So the deck is stacked. They did lose their quarterback for the season last week. Felipe Franks broke his ankle, and he's done for the season. Their backup guy came in, and that last little bit, he did pretty darn good. Yeah. He's a junior. It's not like he just in high school last year. So he didn't look half bad. So, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. Well, somebody said that the early start favors the visitors. You heard that?
I haven't heard that. I'll take it.
Okay. Let's talk about something of the legal profession this morning.
Well, every year the legislature meets. For good or bad, they meet. Sometimes I wish they'd just skip a year and let us catch up with the damage that was done from the prior year. But anyway, they've passed some new laws that went into effect this year. Most laws go into effect either on July 1st or January 1st. Mm-hmm. Some laws go on into effect immediately upon being enacted. And if you see a law that says, this law shall take effective on passage, the public welfare requiring it. That's a law. As soon as the governor signs it, it's the law that day. Mm-hmm. So anyway, most of this stuff, a lot of this came into effect on July 1st. And among a few of them, we'll touch on a few things. Now, the minimum age to get married in Tennessee is 17. I can't imagine why anybody at 17 would want to get married, but...
What was it? 16.
So it's...
Well, that shows you how times have changed, because back, a long time ago, it wasn't that unusual.
And I think, and I haven't dealt into that area of law in a while, but I think at one time with court permission, you might could even gotten married younger than that. But now it's 17, which...
You're still young.
Still young, way too young. And we've got a new definition of indecent exposure. So this is courtesy of Mark Pody and some others. It now defines a public place as highways, transportation facilities, schools, places of amusement, parks, places of business, playgrounds, hallways, lobbies, restrooms, locker rooms, dressing rooms, or showers designated for multi-person or single-sex use. So I just don't expose yourself anywhere except home, I guess, and you're going to be okay. I don't know what the old law said.
I was wondering the same thing. And you'd think, why do we need that? But the times have changed, and I guess we do need a legal definition.
You read in a paper every now and then, some nitwit is exposed himself on the side of the road, or, people are strange, but, you got to have laws for some of this stuff. So, Now, watch where you expose yourself.
Okay.
Firearms have been in the news. We've got some firearm laws that have gone into effect. This one went into effect back in May of this year. It's Class A misdemeanor to transfer a firearm to a person knowing that person has been judicially committed to a mental institution. Mm-hmm. So if you know somebody has been committed at some point and you transfer a firearm to them, you have committed a Class A misdemeanor, which I think Class A will allow some jail time. Barry Tatum can straighten us that out.
Well, I'm wondering, is this somebody that this happened to 50 years ago and you passed?
No, today. Once the law goes into effect, it's not retroactive.
Oh, okay.
So if today you go out and transfer ownership of a gun to somebody that you know has been judicially committed, then you can be arrested. And
all right.
Jailed, fined. Or somebody who's receiving inpatient mental health treatment or substance abuse treatment. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's an outpatient, that doesn't count, but inpatient mental health or substance abuse. So that's a big deal. It's people who have mental issues. There's concerns with them having a weapon.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all concerned about that. So many times in these shootings that we've had, it's somebody that is mentally unstable, whether they've been committed before or not. But a lot of times that they have problems and should have had some treatment.
Let's face it, normal people don't do that.
Right.
You've got to have some mental issues if you're going to do something like that. I've heard all kinds of conversation. Well, it's not mental health. Well, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Now, court clerks have to report the race, sex, and Social Security number of a person who has been judicially committed. So if it's gone to the point where they've had to go to court to have someone just judicially committed because of mental illness, now the court clerk is required to send in that information to the NCIS FBI computer system. Mm-hmm. We've had some situations that got out in Texas. He'd been discharged from the military. So somebody in the military dropped the ball and didn't report it.
Right.
There's a lot of people who are not getting reported that should be reported. If they had been reported, they would not have been allowed to buy a gun. And so now the court clerks, as part of their job, have got to make that report to the FBI computer system. Speaking of estates and conservatorships and so forth, we now, if we're filing a petition for probating an estate or a conservatorship of someone, one of the things that has to be stated in that petition is whether or not the person has been convicted of a felony or have been imprisoned. You are disqualified for serving as an administrator of an estate, as an executor of a will, or as power of attorney, or as a guardian of someone.
What's the thinking behind that?
Well, it's obviously for the protection of the estate, or the ward, the person that's being guardian's named for. Used to, they were prohibited, but we didn't have to put that in the petition. Now we have to actually put that language in the petition, and the person is signing under oath that is correct. And, that's kind of a wide-ranging. You think back, somebody may have had a little indiscretion back in their college days or something and served a little time. Well, if it was a felony, then, they're disqualified now from serving as administrator or executor of an estate. So
I don't know that I don't have a little problem with that.
I have a little problem with it too, but
it's
maybe they can correct that this next legislature.
Well, I know there are a lot of people who do bad things and don't change, but then I think there is such a thing as somebody correcting their mistakes, changing their life, turning around, going the other way, and I don't think they should be penalized for that 20, 30 years down the road.
Well, the statute
in this way.
Yeah, the statute underlying that, the effect of a sentence or of imprisonment in the penitentiary is to put an end to the right of the inmate to execute the office of executor, administrator, or guardian, fiduciary, or conservator, and operates as a removal from office. A fiduciary would be a power of attorney.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty wide-ranging. And I've got some problems with it, too. The people who haven't changed their ways, I don't have a problem with.
There you go.
But anyway, while we've got just a few more minutes, the biggest thing I think that's going to affect most people is the cell phone law.
Yeah.
And I don't text while I'm driving, but I've been known to use the cell phone while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Fortunately, 2 of our 3 cars have Bluetooth, but my good old pickup truck that I use most of the time was built a long time before Bluetooth came along. So I've got to do something about that. But
if you're going to be legal,
it is illegal, effective July 1st, to hold or support. You can't put that phone in your lap. It can't be touching you while you're driving that car. You can do hands-free communication with our cars. It plays through the speaker system. You can have those headphone things on, which would drive me crazy. But it's a $50 fine. And just before I was supposed to be here the last time, I got a hold of P.J. Hardy with Lebanon Police Department. I said, how many tickets has Lebanon given?
And he said, we don't write tickets, we do citations.
Citation. July, 34 citations, and in August, 25 citations. Now, that's a $50 fine plus court cost. Yeah. That's an expensive phone call.
It is.
Put the phone down. It can wait. They've got these little blocks on there that you can push that says I'm driving, and it'll hold that call or that text message till you stop somewhere.
Huh. Okay.
So that's the big things that have happened this year.
Bob, it's really good to see you. We're nearly out of time here, but what mainly are you doing as far as your law practice?
I've obviously slowed down.
Yeah.
I primarily deal with wills and estates and probate. I handle foreclosures for some clients. I handle the creditor end of bankruptcies for clients. That's primarily my focus in my practice at this point.
Right. Well, that's a little commercial for you coming out here today.
And I appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for being with us. We appreciate having you. Bob Lee from Lee & Lee Attorneys, and that is part one of Coleman & Company. Hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:29. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's really busy now here on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. We're still looking at this accident over to the right-hand side here. Everybody else is slowing down as well. Here on 24 westbound, it's between Briley Parkway and 440. You got all that traffic volume now coming in from Rutherford County, Murfreesboro, just adding to the saturation of traffic here in this area on 24 westbound. 2400 block of Jefferson Street, there's just been a crash at that location. Celebrate Autumn at Ober-Gatlinburg during Oktoberfest. It starts tomorrow, runs through October 28. Check it out, obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, financing a new home isn't just about buying bricks and mortar. It's more like helping a neighbor build and grow in life, and you won't find anyone better equipped for that job than a friendly expert who's right down the street. Whether you're looking at new construction or a home equity line of credit, Wilson Bank and Trust will work with you on a home loan that's closer to home. Visit Wilson Bank and Trust online or in person when you're ready to take your next step in life, and you'll be glad you did. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather, but just like the weather, one moment it's sunny and the next you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help. A reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
Since they retired, one couple has ridden every wooden roller coaster in America. What are your goals for the future? Your Waypoint financial professional can help you develop a financial plan to get there. Waypoint, your future, your way. Call your Waypoint financial professionals, Bill Bryson, David Gordon, Tracy Hay, and Tony Helton at 615-444-6548 or log on to axaonline.com. Financial planning services provided by AXA Advisors, LLC.
If you're a fan of Wilson County High School football, make sure to tune in to the Fakes and Hooker Scoreboard Show every Friday after the Lebanon High football game right here on WANT 98.9. Hi, I'm John Boyce. Trent Perry and myself will have all the mid-state scores as well as interviews from each coach within the county. The Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Designers Carpet, Fakes and Hooker, Lebanon Appliance, Mitch's Landscape and Design, Palamettos Insurance, Kenny Salas and Justin Davis with Blackwell Realty, and Sammy Bees. The Fakes and Hooker Scoreboard Show every Friday night.
Head coach Mike Vrabel's in year number 2 with talent on defense.
It's intercepted. Kevin Meyer, Jarrell Casey, First John Evans, Landry with the sack.
Join us right here with the voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, and Coach Dave McGinnis.
Brought to you by Absolute Kubota Exmart, Bates Ford, Fakes and Hooker, Steve Moore Plumbing, and the Jewelers.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Good news, we've almost made it to the weekend and more sunshine is in the forecast. With those sunny skies, highs will rebound to back near the 90-degree mark this afternoon. If you're going to be out and about this evening, nothing to slow you down weather-wise. You can expect partly cloudy skies with lows falling into the mid-60s. That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2 here on a Friday morning. It's time to talk about the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty. Mike Cox joins us this morning. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
I don't know whether I guess we have over the years, you've come and done the commercial by yourself, but very rarely.
Yeah.
You are here all alone today, so we don't worry about Miss Judy or Medina. It's me and you today.
Yeah, they both had to go 2 different directions this morning, so usually they set their closings up towards the end of the week, and sometimes on Friday they can have as many as 10, so they have to do a lot of finagling around to get things going.
Well, we're glad to see you, and of course, Exit Rocky Top Realty is the official name, but we have the C&D team, which is the same people we've been talking about and to for all these years. Same location on West Main Street and same great service, and you just took advantage of an opportunity here to really be able to serve your customers in a better way with Exit.
Yes, we did. There was an article in this week's paper. It kind of explained the people own the Southeast Division franchise. They were pictured in it, and then Mr. Parman that actually runs the corporate headquarters out of Crossville. Our division runs from Knoxville to Nashville and out both ways. Mm-hmm. I mean, we got a huge division on our own. But then the Kenny and Stacy, they own everything from Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky. We're in their division. Mm-hmm. So it's a big organization. When we joined Exit 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago, we were office number 54 in the state of Tennessee. Today, there's almost 100. They had 28,000 agents then, and there's almost 100,000 agents today. So it's one of the fastest growing real estate companies there is.
Yeah. Well, you got any listings you want to talk about this morning?
No, I don't. The girls, I try to stay out of a lot of that stuff because there's so many of them, and they between Judy and Doris and Medina, I just try to basically keep up with what's going wrong. I mean, that's when I step in. If there's something, a lot of times you'll get an inspector comes out, he finds something last minute, and it's got to be done then, or it's not closing. So I'll make sure it gets done. So.
Yeah. Well, that's one advantage. That's one advantage that the C&D team has, having you and being able to get that done in a hurry.
Yeah, that is something over the years that we have been able to utilize. I was in the construction business for years. And then I was having a problem with somebody want to build a house. So I had a hard time getting their house sold. And so I just kind of decided one day with Doris Gorman, I was like, we're going to do this for sale. And so we'll be responsible for making sure that person's house gets sold. So we put a lot of emphasis on it and get it sold. And that's kind of where I started years ago. But, I did want to say that, we lost 2 good realtors this week that have been with us, been with me since I started business, J.T. Harvey and Miss Lancaster, both with Jean Lancaster. We lost both of them this week, and their funerals will be this weekend. But 2 great people, and they were back in the day when we did a handshake on real estate, maybe a 1-sheet form if we did that, and went down Friday morning and we closed. There wasn't the 40 sheets you got to fill out today, and you got to find out where they got the money. If they dug it up out of the backyard, they want to go look at the hole they dug it out of. And basically,
and you're not exaggerating much.
No, used to be years ago, there was a lot of cash deals. I mean, there were. When I first started in business, things have changed drastically. But, and I think that's why you do need a realtor today, because there are so many, ins and outs and things that you can get sued for and things like that. And realtors, they carry errors and omissions insurance and all the things like that that protect you if you are if something didn't get reported or something like that, that was wrong with your house, you didn't know it. I mean, a lot of people don't go under their house. They don't know what's under there, if they got a problem or whatever. So, that's why we encourage when we're selling one to get a home inspection, and most people do, and that's where I come in a lot of times. You have to fix those things.
Mm-hmm. Well, and probably we wouldn't have such stringent laws or go to such ends as we do if there weren't the unscrupulous ones. A few of them, a few bad apples spoil a whole barrel.
Yes, I mean, it used to be so easy to sell a piece of real estate. I mean, years ago, like I say, I've worked a deal on Wednesday and we closed Friday morning. I mean, that quick. Sometimes we'd go that evening and close the evening. I mean, if you call an attorney, and I called Jerry McCullough a number of times, and he's like, "Come on up here and I'll close it." So, but you can't do that today if you wanted to. You got to wait so many days and all that kind of stuff.
What's the minimum time probably now?
I would say if you start right now, if you got cash, you're probably going to be a month out.
A month.
Yeah,
wow.
It could be. I mean, there's cases that they'll get it done in 2 weeks, but, it's still, you got a lot of hoops you got to jump through to see where the money came from.
But because of the additional laws that you have to comply with, it's another reason to have a realtor.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because there's just so many things that can go wrong that later on could cost you a lot of money. Yeah. It's just, there's too many to sit there and talk about.
Well, anything else you want to say?
Well, I just want to thank everybody that came to the fair this year. We had a great fair. I had got to talk to you since then. We had one of the best fairs I feel like we've had, especially with that one night, the rain out so hard, and I think you were in the cabin when it rained so hard. So
I appreciated that cabin that night.
It's a very popular place when it rained, but we had, I mean, even with the rain, we still beat a record, and so, we had another great year.
Well, you're already planning for the next.
Yes, we're looking forward to next year and get going on it.
Well, thanks for being with us this morning. Our commercial just a little bit different with Mike here, but some very good information. And just remember the C&D team, Exit Rocky Top Realty, there on West Main Street. Same great people, same great service. They're people you can trust. And as Medina says, don't make a move without us.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you, Coleman.
Okay, 20 minutes before the hour, and we got a special event, and I believe it's coming up today, and we got two people here to talk about that. And Shari Ligon, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
You are part of our Veteran Service Office.
Yes, sir.
And administrative assistant. And we have John Marshall here with us as well. John, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And John is the VFW Post 15 commander.
5015, yes, sir.
Pardon?
5015, commander. 5015.
Okay. All right, 5015. Anyway, we're glad to have both of you here.
Thank you.
And Shari, tell us about what's happening today.
Today we're having a POW-MIA Recognition Day event there at the Wilson County Veterans Museum. Several different chapters around are participating. We'll have food and refreshments for everybody, and we'll just be recognizing those soldiers who have yet to come home.
All right, and this is at 11 o'clock?
At 11 o'clock, yes, 11
o'clock. Approximately how long do you anticipate?
We're thinking the program may be 30, 45 minutes to an hour.
But definitely no more than an hour.
Right, correct.
All right. Have we done this before?
Yes, we have.
It's an annual thing?
Yes, it is. It's always the third Friday in September.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully, I know. I've tried to mention this a few times earlier. You sent me some information on it, but I asked you to come out here today because today off, at least we could give everybody a good reminder here this morning of what's happening at 11 o'clock. And has this been fairly well attended in the past?
It has. We're expecting anywhere from 50 to 100 people today. We're hoping for that many. Anybody in the area that can attend, they're more than welcome.
John, anything you want to add to that? You're part of it, no doubt.
Yes, we were excited that the Veteran Service Office asked VFW to be a part of it this year. Last year was the VVA, and so they kind of rotated to the groups. And this year was the VVA's part, and we're glad to be a co-sponsor with them and help them kick off National POWMI Day.
And anything in particular you'll be doing?
I will be doing the closing remarks today after we have a former POW being the guest speaker today, and and we have a wreath laying and some other things that are associated with POWMIA Day, and we're just excited to have it done at the beautiful Wilson County Veterans Plaza.
I suppose everybody would know what these initials stand for. I think I know. POW would be prisoner of war.
Yes, sir.
And MIA, missing in action.
That is correct.
Yes.
And so the people who have fallen into that category this is a time to remember, recognize them, right?
Correct.
Correct,
Yes, sir.
Coleman. We have over 1,500 missing in action service members from Tennessee currently today, dating back to World War I.
And that's just it, missing in action.
Correct.
You don't really know what happened.
Correct. I mean, they could have fought in Korea and their bodies are still missing, and every month or so, that they bring home bodies from other countries to Tennessee, and it could be 60, 70 years ago that they lost a loved one, but they're bringing them back and paying their final respects for what they deserve.
We need to go to a break here. You have a ceremony, a program here, which I guess we could go through a little bit when we come back. Don't have enough time for that now. But how are things going at the Veterans Museum?
Going great. We have a lot of visitors, a lot of the schools doing field trips with us, and we're moving right along.
Shari, how long have you been there?
I have been with them since April.
Oh, so you're a relative newcomer.
I am, yes, sir.
I'll bet you've learned a lot since.
I've learned a lot.
You no doubt have come to appreciate that the building, the museum, everything that's there, and what you do for the service people.
Yes, and Wilson County, just to see that sort of facility in a small community as we are, it's just amazing. And every day we have people from outside of our area that just brags on it and talks about how beautiful and amazing it is.
And a pretty good location there, too, I think,
yes.
Adjacent to the courthouse.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break here, and again, this is POWMIA Day and a ceremony at 11 o'clock there at the Veterans Service Office in the Veterans Plaza. We'll talk more about that when we come back here with, of course, Shari Ligon and John Marshall here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota and Rental. Large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday. Free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking at a stalled vehicle being moved here by TDOT in a tricky spot on 24 westbound near Harding Place. It's already crazy slow. Now all that traffic flow coming in on 24 westbound and through the Hickory Hollow area out of Rutherford County. Still working a right 24 eastbound between White Creek Pike and OHB. Heavy traffic continues through Dixon County, out of Dixon County now on 40 east up through Kingston Springs. Celebrate Autumn at Ober-Gatlinburg during Oktoberfest. It starts tomorrow. It runs through October 28th. Check it out, Ober-Gatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me every Friday at 6:30. Lebanon High Football takes on some of the very best competition, brought to you by Absolute Kubota, D.T. McCall and Sons, K. Maynard State Farm Insurance, Bakes and Hooker, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Wilson Bank and Trust, Dickey's Barbecue Pit, and A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction. Lebanon hosts Hendersonville Friday, September 20.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medore Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman and Company, thanks for being with us here. Our final segment now for Friday morning. Just want to remind everybody, and that's what this part of our program is really all about, that today is POW MIA Day and a special ceremony. It's POW MIA Recognition Day, actually, and we're going to have a ceremony at the Veterans Museum and Plaza adjacent to the courthouse. That'll be at 11 o'clock. And if you're Googling it, it is 304 East Main Street, but I think everybody knows where the courthouse is. And once upon a time, Ney Funeral Home stood where your office is, I guess, now.
Yes, sir. Yes, remember that.
The museum, I've heard a lot of good comments about. When is it open? Is it mostly during the day?
It's open every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. And then we open every other Saturday from 10 to 3.
Mm-hmm. You have a pretty good number of visitors.
We do. Of course, it varies when kids are in school. We don't have quite as many coming in during the day unless it's a field trip with a school.
Right.
But on any particular day, there's people roaming and enjoying the museum and the plaza.
All right. Well, let's. We talked a little bit about. I guess we talked more about missing in action, which just means that goes back to World War I. And there are those. How many did you say, John?
There's over 1,500 in Tennessee missing in action
from World War I forward.
Yes.
Yeah, but then a prisoner of war, a lot of times somebody is a prisoner of war, they do get to come home unless they die while they're there, and we've had enough of that to happen, of course. Correct. But they may be mistreated, and we've heard a lot of horrible stories about a prisoner of war and what happened in one of those incarcerations. But this is a day to honor anyone who served our country, was a prisoner of war, or missing in action.
Correct.
And so the ceremony, 11 o'clock, and Char, if you will, tell us a little bit about what those visiting today can expect.
Well, of course, like you said, we'll start at 11 o'clock. We'll have, of course, our Pledge of Allegiance. We've got someone coming out to sing our national anthem. We'll be having a missing man table ceremony, which will be very nice. The raising of the POWMIA flag. We will have an honored guest who was actually a prisoner of war to come and speak. And then
can you tell us who that is?
That will be Mr. Bill Leslie. He will be coming out and speaking on his days when he was a prisoner of war, his experience. Yes.
Where's he from?
He's from Lebanon.
Okay.
He is.
All right.
Of course, like John Marshall said, we will have a laying of the wreath, and that will be the AVVA and the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 1004 doing that.
Well, I take it that this is a day that's recognized all over the nation, but a reason for that is so that we don't forget. We have Veterans Day for anybody, I guess, that has served. We have Memorial Day, but this is a day to remember this particular category of service, where you're a prisoner of war or missing in action, and so it's not a long thing. It's just an opportunity to take up to an hour out of your day to honor and remember people in this category.
Definitely,
right?
yes.
Okay, so what about? You have some seats will be provided, or
we do. We'll have tents set up to cover everybody from the sun or rain, whichever one we get.
You think if somebody ought to bring their lawn chair just to
have plenty of chairs, plenty of seating, yes.
All right. John, we haven't let you say much here. Tell us you are you're the commander of the VFW post. When was your service?
Coleman, I joined the Tennessee Army National Guard in March of 2001 and retired in July of 2018.
Okay. I take it this has been a pretty good experience.
This is my 6 year as commander for the VFW. It's been a good experience. I mean, you got everybody for me, I was an Iraq War veteran, to people that served from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and other conflicts in between, from Grenada, Panama, and Kosovo. So we got a good mix of veterans in the VFW. You
were actually in Iraq?
Yes, sir. I deployed to Iraq in November of 2004 and come home in November of 2006.
What was it as hot there in the daytime as they say?
It gets to about 130 to 135 degrees, and you got to figure you're wearing about. Of course, you're wearing full fatigues, and then you got another 60 to 75 pounds of gear you're wearing on top of that.
And at night, it's kind of cold?
At night, it drops down to about, say, 85 to 90, so a big temperature difference.
Oh, well, a big difference, but that's not cold.
And it's not cold, but if you've been sweating all day and then the cool, it just kind of gets to you.
Any other things about your time there you want to tell us this morning?
It was a good experience. I was there for the first free election that Iraq had in 2004 because we entered Iraq in 2003, and Saddam had been taken out of power, and we were there for the first free election that the Iraqi public had ever had, and it was a good experience to see people actually come out and vote for whoever they wanted to be for their elected official, down to what we would call a county commissioner to the president of Iraq. So, it was good to be there for a historic event for them.
Well, let's talk about your VFW post here. I guess you have a number of people who are members who participate, but you probably would like to have a lot more.
We do. We when I took over, we had about 30 members, Coleman, and we're sitting at almost 100 now. So we have revived a post that was getting ready to be closed from the VFW National in St. Louis because we were not very active, to a post that is really being seen on the national level. That we've got national awards for our post here in Wilson County. So, well,
I hate to ask this, but I kind of want to know: is this something you get paid for? Is it total volunteer?
No, it's all volunteer, Coleman.
No.
No position in the VFW at the post level is paid for anything. It's all strictly volunteer basis.
You must devote quite a bit of time to this, especially if you and those with you have grown from...
I do. I devote most 3 to 4 nights a week to it, and probably one day on the weekend to the VFW, to duties that are assigned to the VFW.
What are you looking for as far as, I guess, even though you've got your numbers up good now, but you'd still like to have more?
Oh, we'll take member. We love members. We just, our main purpose is to help the veterans and help the families of veterans. So if there's a veteran in Wilson County that's eligible for the VFW or a surrounding county and they'd love to join, we'd love to have them. And that's our main focus.
What about eligibility?
You have to serve in a conflict overseas, or any armed team to conflict, you can join the VFW.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the veterans of foreign wars. Is that
correct?
Okay.
So, like, for example, most people don't know this. Even though you as a service member get stationed in Korea, you're still eligible for the VFW, even though it's not, because it's never been declared over with.
I see.
So so service members that go to Korea today that spend 12 months on what's called a hardship tour without their family, they can join the VFW today.
Well, time is slipping away. But let me ask you one other thing about this. You have a regular meeting, a monthly meeting?
Yes, sir. The third Thursday of every month, we meet at the Veterans Memorial Building at the Wilson County Fairgrounds at 6 o'clock.
What's a meeting like?
It lasts about an hour. We serve refreshments from 5:30 to 6, and then we go over business like the POWMIA Day, and we discuss business, how we can help veterans within Wilson County or surrounding counties, because we get a lot of requests from traveling veterans that are maybe broke down on I-40 or 231 that need a little assistance, and we'll help them get gas or whatever they need to get on down the road.
Well, you've said before we went there, you know Uncle Pete.
Know Uncle Pete very well. Good
American
man.
Legion, but you do some of the same type things as far as helping.
We work in conjunction with the Vietnam veterans and the American Legion and the VFW. We all try to work together because our sole purpose is to help veterans, regardless of what conflict you've served in. All the veterans organizations work together to help any veteran.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you being with us today. And Shari, we appreciate you being here too. Shari Ligon, Administrative Assistant for the Veteran Service Office. And you are looking for a Veteran Service Officer.
Yes, sir, we are.
Michael McPherson, I never known for sure how to pronounce his last name, but really I've heard nothing but good things about him. But he's from Robertson County, lives over at Springfield, and was driving back and forth every day. He had an opportunity to serve in his own county, as I understand it.
That's correct.
So they've got him, and we don't anymore.
Yes.
But I'm sure you're doing a good job holding the fort till you get somebody.
We're definitely trying. Lindsay Roberts is my veteran service officer right now. She worked with Michael for several years, so between her and I, we're trying to hold down the fort.
All right, we got about 2.5 minutes to talk again about this special day today, and we appreciate you coming out here too and telling us all about it. But today is POW MIA Recognition Day all over the country,
Yes,
all
sir.
over
Yes,
the
sir.
USA.
Yes, sir, that's
and
correct.
we are participating in it here. There will be a ceremony at 11 o'clock at the Veterans Museum in Plaza. Now, you said you have a tent erected?
We do. We have a tent. We have plenty of chairs. We'll have food and refreshments, so anyone is welcome to come and join us.
Now, the food and refreshments, is that before 11 or after, or the...
We'll start serving whenever everybody starts getting there. It'll be out for everybody to enjoy, so everybody can go ahead and get their food, then find their spot and get ready for the program.
All right, and it'll start, I take it, promptly at 11
At 11, yes, sir.
And be through by or before 12 noon.
That's correct.
So it's not a long, drawn-out thing, but you do what is expected. As you said, you'll have the national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, this sort of thing, and then a speaker. And tell us again who that speaker is.
Mr. Bill Leslie is our speaker. And it'll just be a good day to recognize these soldiers that have not yet made it home.
All right, POWMIA Recognition Day, and we're certainly doing a part of it here. And I think I don't know what, I'm sure Mayor Hutto certainly recommends and approves this. I don't know how much he had to do with it, but all of y'all kind of work together up there, don't you?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah.
It takes teamwork to do this.
And we might mention one more time, you were talking about the museum there, which is open every day till 4 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
And then open on alternate Saturdays.
That's correct. 10 to 3.
There's no admission charge, I don't think.
Not at
You
all.
Come and see what's there. I guess it gets changed a little bit from time to time.
It does. We will swap some things in and out. So, and we're fixing to add some things to the museum, so that's coming.
All right. Well, in our last 30 seconds here, let me thank again Shari Ligon and thank John Marshall with the VFW for being here today. And again, one more time, a reminder, the service at 11 o'clock today on POWMIA Day, 11 o'clock to Wilson County Veterans Museum in Plaza, 304 East Main Street. Thank you all for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Coleman.
Well, that is going to do it for this week and for a fantastic Friday. And until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.